Hello and welcome to D-Dubs Plays. Cities Skylines 2 is coming this year, and I'm sure many of you are wondering what features the game will have when it arrives. Well, today I'm going to try to tease out some answers to that very question. I've come to a few conclusions that I feel fairly confident in, and in a few minutes I'll share them with you and explain my reasoning. But first we're going to take a look at the announcement trailer and I'll talk about some of the things that stood out to me.
It's time to start from the beginning.
Okay, so it's important to note that it does say not actual gameplay there, so any conclusions we draw from this could be totally wrong, but I am going to go ahead and speculate anyway. This scene got me really excited. I mean, if the finished game looks anywhere near as good as this, we're in for a real treat. I mean, the lighting, the roundabout, the roads, the road markings, all that street furniture makes the scene feel so alive.
City has a story. Envision a world created by you.
I think it's interesting that they chose to include a scene showing a bustling waterway, which looks fantastic, by the way. It's definitely something that we'll come back to.
The future.
Seasons are in the game. I think everybody caught that. I do think there's a little bit more to unpack here though, so again we'll return to this scene.
Expand way up high. And bring life to your creations.
The level of detail on these rooftops caught my eye as well. Again, if the finished game looks as good as this, it's just going to be gorgeous.
New worlds to explore and pursue.
I love the look of this bridge as well, and the variety of the buildings on the skyline there. Looks gorgeous.
You are the creator.
And that long shot just looks gorgeous.
You.
If our cities can look half as good as that, I'll be in heaven. And there it is, coming 2023 this year. I'm so excited. Yeah, can't wait. But what can we glean from this? What information can we tease out of it? Well, I think we can draw more conclusions than you might think, and I will explain my reasoning behind them all. Disclaimer though, this is just my hypothesizing. As I said, I'll explain why I've come to these conclusions, and it's up to you to decide whether you think I'm on something or not. But yeah, bear in mind I could be dead wrong. That said, let's get into it. So let's go back to this shot of the roundabout, and one of the things that really popped into my mind almost straight away was that looks like intersection marking tool. Now I know a lot of you guys are console players, so you might not be familiar with a lot of the mods, but intersection marking tool is a really popular mod that allows you to mark intersections. It was made by a guy called McSurgy, who also made Node Controller, which allows you to change the size of the nodes, and that allows you to curve the junctions of roads. Both really popular mods. McSurgy, the creator of those mods, is actually employed by Colossal Order now, so there's a really good case for expecting those mods to be part of the game in Cities Skylines 2. And that street furniture, I mean, not only does it make the street feel really alive, but it also suggests a high level of detail, just like that rooftop earlier. And I think with current gen graphics capabilities, it's not an unreasonable expectation that the game will have that high level of detail. And there's other things that I'll go into later that kind of hint at a high level of detail throughout the game. Now down this street here, these look like wall-to-wall assets, and I think it's reasonable to think that they might include those as part of the base game in CS2. Obviously they released quite a few in DLCs for CS1, and a lot of those were popular, so yeah, I think that's definitely something that we could see as part of the game. Now, I said I'd come back to this bustling waterway. Now, I know that this is a cinematic trailer and not actual gameplay, but I still think that shipping will have got a complete overhaul. It makes complete sense to me that Paradox would want to look at shipping. I mean, first of all, players have been complaining about cruise ships piling on top of each other since the game released, so it's an issue that's been there for a long time. And second of all, after Airports released, a lot of people were asking for something similar with harbours, so it's something that Paradox know would be a popular thing to do. So yeah, it makes complete sense to me that they would want to give shipping an overhaul, but there's also more to it than that. If we look again at that long shot from the end of the trailer, the shorelines are much more detailed. There's lots of different shaped keys, and there's lots more activity around the shores as well, lots of small boats as well as the larger boats moving around. We also have this, this is the image from the wishlist page on Steam, and again we can see lots of small boats in the water, which just makes me feel like the waterways are going to be much more busy, much more detailed along the shorelines, and possibly even kind of modular harbours, like similar to the way that the Airports DLC worked. We also have this from the achievements list, Go Anywhere, have 20 active transport lines, which can be passenger or cargo or a mix of the two. So this has got me thinking that we may be able to create cargo shipping lines in a similar way to how bus lines work, maybe. But I think we'd definitely get more active waterways that feel more alive. So another scene that I said that I'd come back to was this one. Seasons I think is going to be really cool. Again, on the achievements list, we have this one here. So experience all 4 seasons by building a city in a climate with snowy weather. So it seems the climate of the map you choose will affect the seasons that you experience in your game, which is pretty cool. But I said I thought there was a bit more to this, and I'm going to explain that now. First thing that I noticed about this scene is that we're overlooking a nice big park area, and that makes me think that something like the park life functionality is going to be part of the base game. The other thing that I noticed about that park is that there's a big lake in the middle of it. Now, I also noticed in this shot here, there's a lake and a park around the base of that building there. So I'm wondering if being able to create your own lakes and rivers is going to be part of the base game functionality this time around, which is something I'd be really happy to see. I've wished that there was an easy way to make lakes in your cities for so long. But yeah, I think there's a couple of hints here that that will be possible in Cities Skylines 2 as part of the base game, which is really good. So I want to take another look at this image here. I spent quite a lot of time looking at this image and looking at the assets that were in it, and I've got a feeling that this could be a shot from in the game. And the reason for that is that I noticed a few repeating assets, which is what you'd expect from growable zoning. You'd expect some duplicates to appear in your city. So we've got some examples. There's this one over the back here. That looks like the same asset as this one here, and the one next to it just here. Another example, this one just here, and this one here. They all look like they're repeated assets. But whilst I was looking for more examples of this, I spotted these ones here. So you've got the cross-shaped top just here, then you've got a smaller version of it just there, and then you've got an even smaller version of it right next to it there. And again, with this one with the kind of triangular shaped top, you've got a taller version of it just over here. So this makes me think that the way that growables work in Cities Skylines 2 might be quite similar to the way that they worked in the Financial Districts DLC, where when the building spawns, the base of the building stays the same, and then as the building levels up, it just becomes a larger version of the same building, which I think will be really cool if that's the way that that works. That was definitely a feature that I liked in Financial Districts. Now, the last thing I want to look at is the achievements list. Obviously I've mentioned a couple of these already, but there are more that are worth looking at. I haven't mentioned that this is actually the Xbox achievements list, which is fantastic news. All of the conclusions we draw here will apply equally to console players and PC players. Now, I'm not going to go over everything in the list because some of it just doesn't tell us much, like start your first city, for example. But there are a few that are interesting, like this one here. Happy to be of service. So it looks like we'll be able to assign services to specific districts in CS2, which is great. No more fire trucks going from the other side of the map and driving past 3 fire stations on the way to tackle the fire. I know this is something that there's a mod for CS1, but us console players don't have access to mods, so yeah, I think this is a great addition to the game. Then we have these, so it looks like some of the stuff that they added in natural disasters is going to be part of the base game in 2. We're going to have tornadoes, forest fires. Hail is a new one. It'll be interesting to see how that works. Perhaps more interesting though is this one here, rat infestations. Perhaps that will be a consequence of inadequate garbage processing maybe. I think it could also hint at a new service building too. I mean, we're going to need pest controllers in our city now, aren't we? Now, I'm not really sure what conclusions I can draw from this one, but it certainly piqued my curiosity. Our citizens will have life paths that we can follow. Really curious to see what that entails. Now, strength through diversity. Cities Skylines 1 only has 3 zoning types. Office is essentially high density industrial. So I'm curious as to what this 4th zone type could be. Looks like it's going to be purple. And I think my money is on mixed use zoning. It's been much requested by the community, and I think a lot of people will be very happy if I'm right on this one. Everything the light touches is probably one that many of you are already aware of by now, but cities of 150 tiles is epic. I was excited to finally get 25 tiles on console, so this is going to be a big step up in terms of scale. And we're going to be able to build absolutely huge cities in Cities Skylines 2. Now this one probably isn't too surprising. PC players have had a map editor since day one, and console players have finally got a map editor in Remastered. So I don't think it's unexpected that there's going to be a map editor in Cities Skylines 2. What is surprising is that I haven't seen anyone mention this one. I mean, that looks to me like we're getting a built-in asset editor, doesn't it? I find that quite exciting myself. There's a couple more achievements in here that mention signature buildings, and I have heard a couple of people speculating that maybe that's the CS2 version of monuments. But if we can make our own custom assets, they'd be our own signature buildings, right? So yeah, I think that might be what that's referring to. I just hope that for console at least, they implement some kind of native asset sharing system. Obviously PC players have the workshop, but it'd be awesome if us console players were at least able to download cool community assets. Anyway, that's all the awesome sauce that I think I can tease out of the limited information we have on CS2. Let me know down in the comments how you think I did. Did I get anything wrong? Did you spot something that I missed? I'd love to know what you think, and it'll be interesting to revisit this one after Cities Skylines 2 releases, just to see how I did, how many I got right, how many I got wrong. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff that keeps the channel alive, and I will catch you in the next one.